Do any of you take Uber? Like, how many are from the Rez here and don't take Uber? Okay, because like in Bishop, people are like, what is Uber? But how many of you have taken Uber because you are in your cities or you travel? Do any of you have names that they can't pronounce or they have a hard time saying when you get in? And have any of you ever been asked by a driver, like, what's your ethnicity or what are you, and they're not quite sure what you mean? Okay, that's my like everyday life. So this is a poem that is about that. So I had this corporate job for a long time that I traveled 75% of the time, and I would find that I would be in different cities, whether that was in the country or out of the country, and one thing kept coming up, which was people wanted to know the origin of my name. And so I would tell them, and they would be like, what's that? And I was just like, really? Really? How do you not know we're here? And so this kept happening, and so I took it upon myself to educate them for free. And so this is a poem that is called Your Name is in English. When I woke up this morning, I took a breath, made a list of to-dos, subtracted washing my hair in exchange for more sleep. This, in itself, was a revolutionary act. I reached for the half-full conscious content next to my bed, let life fill my mouth for a moment, and pulled the covers back over my face. I think about how I'm tired, but I gave up coffee when I was 3, back when I would sit around the elders' fire after sweat, nodding to the collective but understood silence there is in wisdom. I think about home. I can hear our parents call us home for dinner. We darted ways in sets of 2s and 3s, falling out of trees, splashing through creeks, ducking under barbed wire, pulling stickers out of toes, bouncing to the freedom of the fields of the few hundred acres we were able to keep. And to think how much this would shape who we would be, how we would love, how we would or would not trust, how regardless of our paths, we were all growing up a little too much too young. And while we lied under those deep Navy nights, playing connect the dots with asterisms in the sky, it was like paint by numbers with the ends of our hair as the brush dipped into cans of ambition. Shondine wanted to be a scientist. Anope wanted to be an undercover cop. I wanted to work at Kmart. It never occurred to us that no matter how big we dreamed, while we were growing up, people were erasing us. I wish we knew then that the definition of a star is a luminous sphere of plasma held together by its own gravity. That's probably what I would have said then that I wanted to be. I got up and I washed my face in cold water, put on clothes, and wiped a dot of mascara away from the side of my eye. And as the car door shut in my Uber, the driver says to me, I didn't know your name because it is in English. The moment these drivers hit accept ride, they're unbeknownst to them joining a movement. Saying my name out loud in itself is a revolutionary act. Having a stranger speak my name into the universe is the first form of an ally. It is an intentional direction by me for them to put a permanent pen over the pencil erasings of their education that diminished my visibility. And I like to make them say my name until it sounds good to my ears, until it sounds like they mean it, until it sounds like they're kind. And they spend their early mornings and mid-evening drives attending a history class in which I am their generous professor. So the driver says, with a name like that, where are you originally from? I think about my cheek against the sweat dripping down the skin of the woman who bore me. I grew up knowing first that I'm Paiute, Navajo, and Apache, and secondly, understanding how we unwillingly became American through genocide, boarding schools, and forced assimilation. I'm from here. This is a course that I like to call On the Land You Stand 101. And it's not unusual for my momentary student to have no prereqs. As we drive further away from our beginning, I get further away from who I am in the ways that I have to explain this answer in the way that he will understand. I'm from here. I'm Navajo, Paiute, Apache. And most of the time they don't know what these names mean, so I go broader, which is further. I'm Native American. My jaw resists my lips for a moment as I go further away. American Indian, Indian, no, not that kind. And I try one more time. I'm indigenous to this land. And he questions, yes, but where's your family from before they came here? We were here before white people showed up, before this was America. And I think about home. Because we were born with the lessons of the land in our limbs, in vast open deserts, through rolling hills and among standing ovation open coasts. I'm from the mud and the sun, from their feet and their tongues. I'm from this nation's first DNA. And he continues, I didn't know you guys were still around before this, and I feel really bad about that. But we talk about what he does know, romanticizing our legacy as a warrior in a time capsule or a caricature on a snapback. I tell him that neither of us see myself in the pictures and we can't find our missing sisters. And I miss my friends I used to run the fence with whose hearts were sometimes too heavy to fly. I tell him that there are 2,000 of us left on my dad's side, an endangered species inflicted by a systematic process to ensure I wouldn't exist. I wasn't supposed to be here. My birth was a revolutionary act. So I tell him that that was the plan, and that if he didn't know that I existed, then it worked. But that because we met today, he could help me change that. And I tell him that your ears are a revolutionary act because they're open. Your heart is a revolutionary act because it's listening. The way you say my name out loud is a revolutionary act. Because me and you, we are thought, we are action, we are consequence. And as the car pulls up, he says to me, so after all that, does your name have a meaning? And I think about home, where I like to sit on rusty lawn chairs in the winter so the sun can soak my face, so I can listen to the leaves talk to each other about their day. So I can inspire my fingertips to remember that they are allowed, to trace my history down every lover's back, down every road I've ever walked, into every room I've ever entered. I am allowed. And so I tell him, yes, it does. My name is a fact. My name is our history. My name is death. My name is survival. My name is resistance. My name is a United States government implemented policy that imprisoned me in the 1860s. My name is the 4,380 people who died from this process. My name is the 400 miles we walked back to our land at gunpoint. My name is the women who had daughters so that they could have daughters like me. And I tell him that I think my name sounds closest to a luminous sphere of plasma held together by its own gravity. Thank you.